Hey guys, welcome to the next part of Let's Play Football Manager 2015, and this is the Aston Villa save as we move into 2020, the 5th of February to be exact, and this is the state of the table as of that date, and 11th as you can see, Aston Villa there, not doing too badly at all I don't think. Again, I mentioned it in the last video, second season syndrome is quite a big thing. It's affected quite a lot of teams in the past, and I'm very sure that it's not going to happen to us this time as we again approach that magical 40 points barrier. But I mean, if we were on 40 points now, we'd actually be in a Europa League spot, which is insane. But more eagle-eye viewers, if you've been having a look at the details here whilst I've been talking, you may notice again it's the same old issues. Plenty of goals. And yes, you're reading that right. That's 6 goals against Manchester United. But 39 conceded. So a goal difference of, unfortunately, -1, which isn't really good. I mean, let's look at the positives first. Only Everton have anything close to us in terms of the team below us, and that's 35 goals. But they have admittedly conceded less, which is very concerning. But that's Tottenham, who've scored only 2 more than us. And, you know, Tottenham, I don't think that's a bad team to be alongside at this stage. Obviously, we have a game in hand here. I think that's because we're in the middle of the midweek fixtures. I think we're due to play Swansea in a moment. So if we win, technically we could go into the top half. So we've kind of mistimed this one a bit. But the surprise element, as you can see here, I'm sure you're going, what on earth? How are they up there? That is, of course, Derby County. How? I'm sure you're wondering. How on earth are Derby County in 3rd place? So their manager is Phil Parkinson, who I believe is, I think I may have gone over this last time again, sorry if I did. Where is he? Keep forgetting. He's the Bradford City manager. I think he, in fact, took them to Wembley the other year against Swansea in the League Cup final. And he seems to be doing a very good job here. Look at that. I mean, they got promoted. In fact, where did they come up there? It doesn't actually say. I thought it said down there. Never mind. But yeah, they've done amazingly well. They've got Troy Deeney, that Chelsea Ramirez. I think it is. It is as well. He's on loan from Real Madrid. Wow. So I'm actually quite amazed at how Derby are doing at the moment. Whether it'll last, I mean, there are only 14 games left. I say only 14. I mean, don't get me wrong, Liverpool here could jump above them if they win that game in hand, but still, the 4th place, they're in the Champions League spot, for God's sake. So that's the state of the table then. Let's go over transfers. How did I do then over in the summer? So, players out then. So I sold Noah Dicko. He wasn't really good enough for £1 million to Reading. Mihailovic, yeah, this one was a total failure from the start. I, of course, got him on a free. He then couldn't play because he didn't have a work permit, but for some reason I could still buy him. I had to loan him out to Valencia for a season. He still didn't have his work permit when he came back, so I was like, I might just as well just cash in on him. So I got £6.5 million for him, and naturally because the game is so short-sighted, it goes, the fans believe your decision to sell this player was a bad one. It was a poor piece of business. Really? A gross profit of £6.5 million? I don't think that's too bad at all, you stupid so-and-sos. I also sold Mitroglou, Skelbred, a few young players who weren't really good enough. And I've sent also Harley Dean here, who of course you may remember I signed last season. He was not content with being... Hang on a minute, has he already got a transfer arranged? Hang on a minute, what? Oh no, okay. I thought they'd already sold him after a month. But yeah, he was never really content with being a rotation option. He was not happy being here, so I sold him on. For a small profit as well, I think. But these are the players I brought in then. So, Abdoulaye Touré. This guy just appeared, I think, in my scouting system. Centre-back from the Ivory Coast. This guy looks pretty decent. Bought him from Stella for £150,000. Looks pretty good. Let's see, who else do we have? Luis Coelho. That's pronunciations. Don't ever ask me to ask me on them because I'm rubbish with them. Again, this guy looks really good. He's a defensive midfielder. I might do a bit of training to get him better in just the centre midfield role. Again, I got him. Where's the game from? I'm not even going to attempt to say their name. I think, yeah, I've sent him off to Norgerland anyway, just to get a bit of first team experience because he sure as hell isn't getting it here. William Gutierrez, right? Okay, I should explain this guy. You may be wondering, okay, why is he only 2-star? What happened here? I found him, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, the transfer would. Hang on, let me just double check. When did he come through? Yeah, I actually signed him in September, or sort of like right at the end of the transfer window, but it had already shut. Problem was, he looked really good. My scouts lied to me, unfortunately, and he has not developed. He actually looked all right at one point, but he has not developed. My scouts slightly overrated him a bit. If you notice here, he is now 23 years old. He's a real player, has been playing for FC Groningen, and he has played 5 appearances. He's played for nearly 10 years and has 5 appearances. That is enough to stifle anyone's potential. He is now a complete waste. There is no reason for him to be. I might just release him. Actually, oh no, sorry, yeah, I did send him on loan. I think I may very well release him because he is absolutely gone. He's worthless. Because I don't even think anyone will want him, to be honest. He's not worth a carrot. Luke Sanderson from Ajax. This is a nice find. I think he was transfer listed. And as you can see, another player who I think looked good at the time, but in now isn't really that great. I've not really given him much of a chance, to be fair. He hasn't, when I've brought him in, he hasn't really massively impressed either, but I do like his flexibility. I do like the different positions he can play in, so I'm happy for him for now. But as you saw there, he is a bit concerned about the playtime, so it looks like I will have to give him some. Carlos Zambrano, the Peruvian international defender. Again, this is more just I need experience, I need a level head just to stop the rot of these friggin' goals going in. We just concede so many goals. it's so annoying, and this is the guy I brought in. He's made 9 appearances. Again, he's not massively great. He's at he's at Wolfsburg now at the moment in real life. I've brought in Lamine Sane as well, the Senegalese international. This is another player I found. I think he was transfer listed from Bordeaux. Again, it was just getting the numbers in, trying to just build on a better, just a better defence than what we already had. I don't think it's worked, to be honest. Now, Stipe Parika, I think is how you say his name. This guy was, I don't know where to begin with this guy. He's 6'4", he's a target man. My scouts said he had 4.5-star potential. Unfortunately, he's 24. Don't always look at the potential and go, oh, that means he could be really good. This is a lesson. His ability is in fact not great. He actually has 3-star potential, not 4.5. So again, I think my scouts are not doing very well. I'm probably going to have to bring another one in, or someone else. As you can see, he's made 4 appearances. He scored 2 goals in cup competitions, but not really doing it for me again. The big signing, the very big signing indeed, comes in the form of Juan Iturbe, a player I think Liverpool should sign in real life. He'd be very handy. He would have been a very handy Suarez replacement, if I'm being honest. Sort of same age, everything. Well, when we bought Suarez in, he was the same age. And I think he... Oh, sorry, no, I beg your pardon. Sorry, that's... I looked at him, I looked at his age there, and I thought that was the real life age for him. I'm sorry, take it all back. I would like Liverpool to sign this guy, though. I think he's quality. He's scored 5 goals so far. Oh, sorry, 6 goals, I should say, in 18 starts. Not amazing. He is a bit injury prone as well, but 19.5 million. Big signing, of course, boosts shirt sales. I don't think... I mean, well, I was going to say he hasn't been particularly great so far. Finishing 13. I've been playing him out wide quite a bit because of that, and also his acceleration, his pace, and his agility, etc. But 19.5 million, I don't think it was money well spent so far, but he has been handy. Serge Aurier then, from Juventus, the Ivory Coast international, another good defender. This guy brought in January, I think, for 2.5 million, so he's only just played the first few games. I believe, in fact, he is at Lyon for 8.5 million in this game. They eventually sold him on a year later for 20 million to Barcelona. I really like the look of this guy. If we don't get Javi Manquillo then, or if he can't stay, that is in real life, Liverpool, I wouldn't mind us getting this guy, potentially. He looks really good. As a right back, certainly a hell of a lot better than Glenn Johnson. I think I've said everything I need to say about him. Anyway, let's go to the competitions. Oops, sorry, no, schedule, I beg your pardon. So this is how we started. Then we had a 1-1 draw at Goodison Park. And this is how the team lined up. So we've still got Aaron Lennon now, who I think is starting to wind down as a player now. He really hasn't got a lot left to give, I don't think. But who scored? Let's have a look. I played Parika in his first game. Nathan actually opened the scoring. Tom Cleverley is a bit of a punch to the gut, to be honest. Should have won here, but I'll show you Nathan's goal briefly. There, as you can see, he didn't have a particularly good game. Jordan Rhodes, who is a beast on this, didn't have a good game. Sergio Romero in goal for them. My phone always goes off when I record the commentary. I'm so sorry. There's Nathan, across from Lennon. Again, I criticise Lennon, and he comes up with the goods. But yeah, he is starting to wind down. He hasn't played too many times, and his fitness isn't great either. 3-0 against Doncaster. My young gun, Jeff Brown. Again, a really good potential player here. Striker, scoring a couple of goals. Admittedly, it was only Doncaster, but not, it's not to shake a stick at. Certainly, I think he's done well there. I played Brad Guzan. Of course, I'm trying to rotate Guzan and Butland. I don't know how long Guzan's got left. He is a goalkeeper, of course, so he might have a couple more years, I think maybe 3 at most. 0-0 draw at Loftus Road against QPR. Not the worst result in the world. Quite a horrible little place to go, QPR. They are not, of course, as bad as they are in real life. They're, in fact, pretty decent. Stal Solbakken is their manager. That just... QPR and Stal Solbakken, that just sounds like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it? Absolute disaster. But no, he's done a decent enough job for them. They're a very steady mid-table team. Sort of what Aston Villa are... Well, yeah, Aston Villa used to be sort of 4 years ago, I guess. Now, this result here, we actually beat Man United 3-1. This was Iturbe's debut. He came off on the bench. And I just want to show you these goals. Now, I've won cup finals in dramatic fashion. I've won leagues in great fashion, in dramatic, in mad fashion. But for just sheer results and ways of beating a team, it doesn't come better than this. Honestly, I think in terms of just a singular game, a singular performance, I don't think I've had many more satisfying than this. So, this is... I'm trying to think. They actually score first. Yeah, that's right. So they've got Carlos Fierro, obviously, who still, I've yet to see anything. We've heard all about him in real life for just days and weeks and months and years on end about Carlos Fierro. Yeah, I've yet to see it in real life, but FM continues to plod on with his insane ability. Mario Pasalic, so then I'll putting us level after Fierro admittedly put a good goal in. This is 12 minutes to go. They, I believe, also missed a penalty at one point. So, 9 minutes to go. I've just brought Iturbe on at this point. I've realised the game's going a lot quicker than I thought. Grealish there. Grealish does have this problem. If you are going to sign him, tell him not to shoot less. Tell him to shoot less often, because look at this. Oh, wonderful! Because Jack Grealish has, I think all wingers do this, where they will just shoot from preposterous angles. Look at that. Juan Iturbe, he's hardly had to do anything. Well, he's already made himself a cool hero. And Jack Butland assist there, ladies and gentlemen, yes. I know, it was just the way it happens. And, they kind of dominated the game. As you can see, Berardi, that would have made them 2-0. He put it wide. This is a horrible miss from Berardi. I think Mark Wilson gave the penalty away. Does have a tendency to dive in. Oh, that's a shocker, isn't it? Isn't that just a shocker? But yeah, as I say, it was a very satisfying result. Iturbe's doing well. But yeah, Jack Grealish, if you are going to sign him, he's a very good player, and he will form into a very good player if you treat him right. But make sure he is set to shoot less often. I don't know if this is the game or whether this is just certain players, but they do seem to shoot when the only thing they have in front of them is the near post the goalkeeper, and a defender. They will try and squeeze the ball through the most ridiculously stupid angle they can possibly find. Like Luis Suarez versus Sunderland a few years ago. The only reason Luis Suarez is able to do it is because he's fucking Luis Suarez. Jack Grealish is not Luis Suarez. So, yeah, I really wish wingers would stop doing that. Or just players in general, really. Moving on from that little mini rant. 2-1 Chelsea. Unfortunately, we lost. Chelsea, as you can see, are just all conquering this year. I mean, they were, I think that, was it last season? They won in just, yeah, good luck trying to beat them, coming very close to their total from a few years ago, from about, 10 years ago, in fact, 04-05, when they just decimated the league. Or was it 05 or 06? Anyway, one of those years, the initial Mourinho years. Good luck to beating them. At least I'm happy we scored against them, to be honest with you. We then thrashed Peterborough 2-1. I want to introduce you to lads you've probably seen already anyway, but if not, Johnny Dobson. This guy looks really good. Potential captain material as well. 16 leadership. He's a midfielder. I like to have me captains pretty much, centre midfielder. A local lad, I think. Yep. Sounds like captain material to me. Scoring 2 very nice goals against Peterborough. I'll show you them. Jeff Brown not playing today. Played a few more youngsters, likes of Vardic. Who else? This was Anderson's debut, I think. Can't be wrong there. Played Lennon, Brown, Smith. Loads of good, potentially good young English players. I'll show you Dobson's 2 goals then, just so you can get an idea of what this guy's like. He's not going to be a world beater. I would liken him a lot to long-time subscribers will remember him instantly. But I think on FM12, Jason Malone. Do you remember him, the regen I got through from Liverpool's youth ranks? He was never going to be a world beater. In fact, he wasn't particularly rated by my assistant manager or scouts. But he would put in awesome performances. And look at that, great position play from Johnny Dobson, 19 years old. I think he looks really good. But yeah, if you remember Jason Malone, I think he'd be a lot like him. Unfortunately, we went to St James's Park, lost, defence letting us down. We then have, right, this is when Jack Grealish, this is when he shows his worth. Ibarbo, well, 2 hat-tricks, I beg your pardon. Ibarbo hat-trick, Grealish hat-trick. This one is just, I think all the defenders had the shocker here. Swansea are actually really annoying. They're a really annoying team because they've got some really good players, but they're not, they're good in sprints, but they're not great in marathons. If you know what I mean, sort of in terms of when they play you, they're a good team, but they don't really show that in their league form. They have Ibarbo, who is insane on this. If you're looking for a good striker, get this guy. He's got, I say insane, 12, 14 goals, he's not incredible, but for whatever reason it is, he always seems to play well when he plays me. I don't know what it is. As you can see, I'm giving Aaron Lennon, I say he's winding down, but he's putting in good performances. But trust me, he is winding down. Nathan not really showing up here. He's not done a whole lot, Nathan, really, to be honest. Where are we? Sorry, I've gone too far here. We had a bit of a stroke. Yeah, this is really poor. I remember this now. The North London clubs gave us a bit of a thrashing here. 3-0 at White Hart. Oh, sorry, was it White Hart Lane? No, at Wembley, I beg your pardon. Yes. Again, if you've not seen the latest video or whatever, you will know now Tottenham play at Wembley. That is, I believe, a permanent move. I'm playing a few years ahead of you guys, and they are still at Wembley, so I don't believe they are rebuilding White Hart Lane or anything. So Wembley is now their permanent home, which is crazy. They also never sell out. They only sell about 48,000 tickets. Anytime you play Tottenham, it's Tottenham brace for low turnout. Apparently 48,000 is a low turnout. We then went to, Arsenal came to Villa Park, and again, Jack Butland not having a particularly good game, as you can see at 5.8. They gave us a bit of a thrashing. Norwich, we go on to the quarterfinals of the Capital One Cup as Norwich are brushed aside here. 1-0. Tricky little game this. Jeff Brown scoring. Not too many clear-cut chances. Not the greatest game to watch, I'll be honest with you. Let's see who else played here. As you can see, loads of sort of little bitty highlights that sort of evolved into nothing. But Jeff Brown taking the opportunity there, 58th minute. Great little finish as well. As I say, not a great game to watch, but it got us through, and that's all I care about. We're into the quarterfinals of the Capital One Cup. 3-1 against Palace at Selhurst Park. Grealish, Wilson scoring. Aterbe also having a good game. I also play Daniel Ayala up front. He can actually play. I didn't know this until I actually did it. He can actually play up top. I think he plays like a deep line forward or something, or a poacher. Usually one of those two. Maybe a trequartista occasionally. So yeah, he's kind of handy to stick up top if you're really desperate, as I was. 1-0 against Stoke. Sane actually scoring his first goal, I believe, for the team. This is it here. And if I recall, it was a pretty powerful finish. Stoke never really gave much. They had 8 shots, but they weren't of massive note. Arnautovic is a pain in my arse on this game as well. Oof, look at that from a finish from Sane. Super goal. So we move on to the Etihad, or the City of Manchester Stadium on this as it's called. 1-0, going down 1-0 against City. Iturbe not turning up against his old club. Disappointing. Maybe could have got something out of this, but you know, it's City. What more? What you want? You know. We then in the, and I think I'm saying this, it is the Black Country derby. Excuse me, between Aston Villa and West Brom. Correct me if I'm wrong there. 1-0. I can't see who scored, so let's go into the game. Sorry. Yes, it's Iturbe scoring. Well, it's Iturbe. What can I say? He hasn't turned up that much. Apart from that Man United game when I brought him on, he was very unfit then as well. Match fit. He didn't have a lot of it. But West Brom, this is the first time where I went, yes, maybe this is now the time he turns the corner. Unfortunately, we then played Derby, who, as say, are in the form of their friggin' lives ever since Brian Clough left. 3-2 at Pride Park. As you can see here, sort of just throwing Leeds away. You know, I think we went 1-0 up, 1-1, 2-1, and then 3-2, just total collapse. What a surprise, I've never seen a team collapse on FM before. Aston Villa 1-0 against Reading. Who scored here? Again, the game was not telling me who scored. I can't see it anyway. So that's silly. Jeff Brown again scoring. I won't show you his goal. We're then entering the Christmas period now. So went to Anfield 2-1. Kind of happy we scored, to be honest. Again, no one having, apart from Pasalic, no one having a particularly bad game. Sane, not great, but you know. We then actually played Cardiff in the Capital One Cup quarter-finals. We went through in extra time. Mark Wilson penalty, 118th minute. This was a crazy game. Let's see. So they went 1-0 up. We brought it back. We went 2-1 up. Lee Griffiths, yes, the balding Lee Griffiths, 75th minute, brought it back, but then I thought it was going to go to penalties and I thought we were going to lose it there. But no, we're actually into the semi-finals. We haven't had a particularly difficult run, have we? I mean, Doncaster, Peterborough, Norwich, Cardiff. I've seen worse. 0-0 against Hull. Not much to say about that, really. Jack Butland having a good game. Probably kept us in that. Saved us a point. Southampton, tricky team to play. But this is the problem with Butland. He'll have an 8.2. Next game, 6.1. You know, it's not really good enough, is it? So I played Brad Guzan, naturally. 3-2 against Nottingham Forest. And then 4-2 against Huddersfield. Matthew Richings here. I think he may have actually been injured at one point. That's why we're not seeing him. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, sort of bits and pieces where he'll get injured for a few days. He'll stay out for a week or two. But then the problem, of course, is with players like him, match fitness. It's really difficult to get strikers back up to match fitness. I mean, obviously, you just play them in the reserves. Problem is, because my reserve team, for whatever reason, don't like to play players available to them from the first team. I don't know why they do it, but I don't know. You'll also notice here we've actually got 4 away games in a row, which is insane. Admittedly, one of them was in the third round of the FA Cup, but still, come on, 4 away games. 3-2 against Burnley. Unfortunately, we lost here in the FA Cup. I wasn't particularly disappointed as we already have 1 cup run on the run. Oh, sorry, on the go, I should say. Burnley were just better than us on the day. As Summer aside, as you can see, we're 3-0 up inside half an hour. Dobson, actually, I'll show you Dobson's goal again. As you can see, he was man of the match. There is something I like about Dobson. There really is. I think he's a quality little player. Parika then gives a glimmer of hope with 15 or so minutes to go. There he is. Boom. That was the goal I was looking for before. That's why I showed you them 2 goals. I couldn't remember where he scored it, but yeah, he's absolute belter of a strike from old Johnny there. And yeah, unfortunately we lost, but I've already got one cup run, so I wasn't too disappointed there, I suppose. 3-3 at Old Trafford. Check this out. Juan Mata equalising for, well, hell, look at that. We were 3-1 up, and then 3-3. It's Manchester United for you. It just happened. Well, it's not even Manchester United, that's just Football Manager. It's like, I see you have a 2-goal advantage. I better change that. Unfortunately, Stamford Bridge again. Chelsea did the double over us, but I think they've done the double over virtually everyone. I'm just happy we scored. 2-2 at Villa Park against Everton. Not bad. Again, another draw. Starting to pile up a bit now. We then played Manchester City over 2 legs, and as you can see there, we are, well, I'll go over the games around, but as you can see, with the draw there in the second leg, we are due to play Liverpool in the Capital One Cup final at Wembley on the 1st of March. My first ever cup final on Football Manager 2015. It should be a good one, and we're going to bring it to you live. Well, who's we? I will bring it to you live. That's going to be the next video up. I don't know when. It'll probably be in the next couple of days. I like to space my videos out now. Unfortunately not able to go back to the glory days of uploading a video every day. You know, that kind of took its toll. I'm not at university anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, we played them at Villa Park here. Nathan with, well, look at that. I mean, well, I'll show you the goals so you can get an idea of how it all went. Sane letting himself down a bit though, the 6.3. But Jack Grealish, I suppose he likes the big games. One thing though he can't do is take a bloody corner. Seriously, he's so bad at corners. But Nathan Baker, he's a really good sort of just stopper. He will just block you completely. Him and Wilson are quite good at that. There's Jack Grealish. I mean, look at that. But he can't take a corner. He can't half hit a strike when he wants to. So that's 1-0. That's approaching half time here. I'm thinking, right, if we can hold on. I think I'm counter at this point. I've got us on lower tempo. Might still be higher actually. Usually for the big games I will have us on a high tempo just in case the other team are. Just so we can at least match them. But what of all this is, here's Nathan, here's Lucas Anderson, back to Nathan. Joe Hart probably should have saved that. And Nathan pops it in, he's not offside. 2-0. I'm thinking this can't last, no way. But obviously there's a highlight just before half time. And then Matip puts City back in it. That is an away goal as well. That was a real kick to the bollocks because we were just getting to half time as well. Thought if we can get in with a clean sheet, that would be amazing. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. Here's Grealish again. I mean, look at that. That is just phenomenal. He is a fantastic player, Jack Grealish. I think he's already a club legend, or I think he will be at some point. So that's 3-2. We actually took that to the... they obviously scored again, but I don't want to show you that, obviously. We then took that to the Etihad, and we got a draw out of it. It's a... well... I say draw. Bloody hell, this was hard fought. Jorrit Hendricks, who has had a torrid time with us. He's not been great, I've got to be honest. His performances have not done very well, but we somehow stood up to the... I mean, considering how many goals we've conceded all the time, how much of a problem we have with defence, this was the only goal we conceded on the night, which is coming now. Jack Butland, could he have done better? Manchester City... Whoa, hang on a minute, what? Yeah, Man City will win on away goals, but it went to extra. I think it goes to extra odds, but it's gone to extra time. I think the rule is different. Please correct me if I'm right. I think the away goal rule counts after extra time. I think. I don't know. Or maybe that was just a commentary being derpy. I don't know. Anyway, this is the 101st minute. Ashley Barnes is on. You know, the player who always just seems to just come up at the big occasion. He's Dirk Kuyt, basically, is what he is. He's completely Dirk Kuyt. And, I mean, shades that of. That was shades of Vincent Kompany to Coutinho to make it 3-2 last season, that goal, wasn't it? There, Ashley Barnes putting it in. And we somehow survived. How? I have no idea. But that was enough, anyway, to put us through to the final. And then we topped that with a 4-3 victory over Spurs. So that was very good indeed. I mean, they've got Son Heung-min, who is an excellent, excuse me, an excellent player. Another player we probably should have signed in real life, to be honest. But Richings, Westwood, Sane, and Nathan, again, a very back and forth game, but we eventually took it away from them. And yeah, somehow got a 4-3 victory. But the goals, as you can see, conceding them, still a bit of a problem. Scoring them isn't really, it's just conceding them. So, the tactics I'm playing, this is how most of my teams line up to sort of quash this. It's not really working as such. I guess it's working to a slight extent. But to quash the goals or conceding the goals, are actually playing 5 at the back with a halfback. Well, it's halfback. Wilson playing as a halfback at the moment. It varies from game to game. It really does depend who plays there. Usually, if it's Westwood can play there, he'll play sometimes as a DLP. I think who else can play as a DMC? Pasalic also plays there as a roaming playmaker. And occasionally Wilson does come in as whatever I want it to be. If I'm going, if it's a bit more defensive, it'll be a halfback, potentially an anchorman. If it's a bit more aggressive, if we're the home team, I might make him either a halfback, I beg your pardon, a register, or I'll push him off completely there. We have 5 at the back, and we have 5-3-1-1, or even just do this. If we're at home against someone who we're clearly better than, we'll do this. We'll just go back either to the 4-4-2 or 4-3 or 4-3-1-2. I don't like to have 3 in midfield though, especially most of the time the lower teams will have 5 in midfield. I've noticed that. I think Crystal Palace do it. I think Stoke have it. They have a lot of 5 in midfield, and usually you don't want to be outgunned and outnumbered in midfield. So it's important, I think, to change it, and that's what I've started doing now. I've changed it to match changed the formation to match the time. You know, if we're playing City away, I'll play 5 at the back with a holding midfield player with 1 up front. If we are at home to, say, Reading, I'll play this, or some variation of it. So that's what I would advise. And also, you don't then have the issue of this. I think it's apparently a myth of the AI figuring out your tactics. Apparently it's a myth, as far as I'm aware. I used to believe it. I don't anymore. I think it's just... actually, I don't even know what it is. But it's certainly not the AI finding out what your tactics are. And that's it for now. Financially, we do need to sort something out. We are at a loss at the moment of £20 million. So I might need to get rid of a few players. That's not great to have, although usually a big load of money does come in at the end of the season, of course, to correct that. So, I'm going to go play this Liverpool Capital One Cup final game next. I hope you'll join me for that. It should be a good one. And I'll see you then. So, it's goodbye from me. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.